Okay, I'm running a little test on this new battery that I got. This is the Rebel 100 amp hour lithium iron phosphate battery. And when I got it, I tried to charge it with my smart charger. And it doesn't really go up to 14.6. It goes into protection at 13.8 volt. So the block number 4 always will reach the cell protection of 3.6 volt early, so it would cut off the charging and then it would stop. And most of the other cells are at 3.35 to 3.4 volt, which I think is almost full, because with this other battery, when I try to charge it, it stays at 3.33 volt for a long time, and then in the end it will go to 14.6 volt. So the test is with a small 400 modified sine wave inverter. This is a Cobra. I think it's pretty good. This one, 400 watts continuous, but it is running a rice cooker and it's drawing 521 watt and 41 amp pulling out from this battery here. And I've been boiling the water for like 15 minutes now, and yeah, it hasn't triggered an alarm yet. It's slightly warm, blowing out warm air, and otherwise the voltage is now 3.2 volt, but the variation, the delta, is only under load is 5 millivolt. So it's pretty good when it is under load, but when it is charging, number 4 block always goes into protection, and I have a delta of 200 millivolt or so. And balancing, I start a little early, 3.3 volt instead of 3.4 volt. So I notice if you want to have it balanced, you have to take the balance only when charging. You have to switch that off, and then after you finish charging your battery, it will balance it down to like 10 millivolt or less. If you keep this on after charging, the balancing doesn't work as well. Okay, this battery here actually weighs a ton more than this one here. This is a screen power. This is close to like 30 pounds. This is 22, 23 pounds. This configuration is a little different. I understand the seller, when they got this batch, it was not configured to the way they want. This is basically 5 20 amp hour in parallel, and then 4 of the cells in series to make it 100 amp hour. It weighs a ton, so I hope the capacity is there. I haven't really done like a discharge test and run it down to 0, but this is more of a practical test, because you want to run something with an inverter and see that it would work, right? This is in real world, in a van or something, you want a rice cooker. With this, you can make rice, you can make soup, you can steam, you can boil water for your coffee. So this is a very useful tool for someone that does camping. And you don't need a giant inverter. You don't need a big inverter, 3000 watt like this. This is 400 watts and it's working fine. Okay, so this battery doesn't come with a charger. I use the charger for this battery. I had to configure this a little bit differently. I cut a couple of rivets and I used a pin and I put it into the socket here. You just have to check out the positive and negative, and then I hook it up to the XT60 to charge. Alright, that concludes the test for the Rebel battery here.